Okay. Podluck. Blac Chyna claims she was just joking when she put a gun to Rob Kardashian's head. That is not a misquote.
Girl boss.
Yes.
We know comedy runs in the family.
JK, she said, while holding a, yeah. So her mom was apparently not the only one with a sense of humor in the family. Very clearly, Blac Chyna has a sense of humor as well. So it says, Blac Chyna claims she was just joking when she put a gun to Rob Kardashian's head and wrapped an iPhone cord around his neck. So I don't know if this is for if she's works in acting as well, but we'd call this foreshadowing.
Sorry, I just have to say, the next line of this starts with, the model was asked about the abuse allegation. She's a model? Is that why should we know about her?
I don't know what.
Or is this like when we use her model to mean OnlyFans
person? Instagram model.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's not really.
Like, I thought she maybe was like sort of a rapper.
The model was asked about the abuse allegations originally made by her ex-fiance in April of 2020, during her court appearance in Los Angeles on Wednesday for her ongoing case against the Kardashian-Jenner family. The incident allegedly took place in late 2016 at Kylie Jenner's home in Hidden Hills, California. Chyna, 33, alleged that Rob, 35, was FaceTiming two of his friends when she took the gun off the dresser in the bedroom and jokingly put it to his head, saying, "If you ever leave me." ... When
was the iPhone cord brought into the situation?
So it says
the iPhone cord?
Chyna claimed that the threat wasn't serious and that Rob appeared to find her actions amusing. I want to know what length the iPhone cord was. Was it because I've been buying I buy 10-foot cables now for my phone cords. So I can reach across the room. But
did she go like this and like lasso it?
That would be cool. That would be very cool. And was it a stock cord or was it an aftermarket? This is why a lot of times, like when we're joking around here off air and I say something, I always wonder, I'm like, what would it be like if I had to say this at a deposition someday? Always
to read it back.
Always I was thinking about Johnny Depp and his very, very untoward conversation with Paul Bettany about what he would have done to Amber Heard after doing other things to Amber Heard. Very bad things that you don't want to have to repeat later in a different setting.
Something about a
live your
burnt
life
corpse.
Yeah, live your life like you're always about to be deposed. That's the advice from
dude.
I don't think
less
it's like
fun.
the worst.
That is a T-shirt.
Yeah,
that is a T-shirt right there.
Would you want to say this in a deposition?
Yes. Those words could save your life.
Talk to me like I'm recording everything you say.
Exactly. Chyna claimed that the threat wasn't serious and that Rob appeared to find her actions amusing. It was not loaded. I also like this part. She justifies by saying it wasn't loaded. Like, come on.
You know that.
Yeah, like, did she show him? Did she like remove the magazine and like show him a clear chamber before she did it? I'm guessing not.
Here's the thing. Even if it's a joke, that's a really weird joke.
Yeah. It's like
and also,
just out of nowhere,
who knows he was
FaceTiming
laughing because he found it funny, not because he was actually scared.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like, what is he supposed to do? Be like, get away from me and possibly like freak this person out more who has irrationally picked up a gun?
Yeah, what if he like flinched and like she get like I want to my question is, did she have good trigger discipline? Was her hand was her finger inside the trigger guard?
Would never even do that.
Yeah, like that's the sign. That's enough. The fact that she was like, I did it as a joke, is like, oh, you are not trustworthy.
And the fact that it was just like sitting there and she just casually grabbed it and did that.
I like the idea that she's actually really big into it, and like he's the one being bad with the guns, and she's got like really good trigger discipline, cleared the chamber, emptied it, cleans it for him, and then no.
I stand by. I think Mary's comment is perfect. Like, anyone who actually has
good
gun discipline would never do this.
Would never do this. It's we talked about after the Rush shooting. It's like, these are the people that tell you that you're not allowed to own guns, who are the ones who very clearly have no respect for just how dangerous they actually are. They're always ready to tell you that you can't have a gun while behaving recklessly with guns. It was not loaded, she testified. I would never shoot Rob or anyone at that. I like that she clarified, or anyone, not just him. I wouldn't shoot anyone.
It was just joking, like ha ha.
It wasn't like a joke like ha ha ha. It was a joke like ha ha ha.
Yeah.
It says Chyna. As for the iPhone cord, Chyna claimed that she jokingly wrapped it around Kardashian's neck to get his attention while he was playing video games, not to strangle him. Again, live your life as if you're always about to just be deposed. China's lawyers also showed a video clip in court of the night of the alleged fight between the former couple who split in 2017. The retired video vixen oh man, they call her a video vixen. So rap video.
She's a model.
She's a model. The retired video vixen claimed that they were celebrating the pickup of their new, now defunct reality series, Rob and Chyna, in December of 2016 when Rob sustained alleged injuries. While footage showed Rob in a torn shirt, Chyna claimed they were being playful, and the reality star never indicated she was hurting him. Kim and Khloe Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, and Kris Jenner were all inside the courtroom and appeared very stoic during Chyna's testimony. Of course she was. She's not going to show any emotions. Kim Kardashian knows that the best face she can make is a neutral face.
Yeah, and also, like,
she's the best at
what are
it.
they supposed to do?
Exactly.
Right? Like, freak out, start screaming, disrupt the process?
Yes, you did mean to choke him with that iPhone cord. The reality TV family previously rebutted Chyna's claims that they used their influence to cancel her. So we talked about that the other day. They're claiming that that the Kardashians influenced the network to have their show canceled. I don't think Kim Kardashian views any other reality TV show as like a threat to her, to be honest.
No.
But
Yeah, I think also no one wants to watch Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna, the model. Like,
They might have realized that
that's
just
really all
wouldn't
there
go well.
is to that. Like,
Yep.
it just wasn't probably a great show.
I would like to understand, like, maybe now they do like she does like a YouTube series where she goes to like a gun range and gets like gun safety courses. She should just lean into it, and like she should start selling aftermarket iPhone cables for a company.
I think this goes on to one of my like current hobby horses, which is like the obvious bias that goes into how we talk about domestic violence when women do it versus men, and how like ultimately I feel like that makes us less aware of like red flags and dangers in relationships. Like, this girl, as a joke, pulled a gun on the father of her child, I think her fiance at the time. Like, that's crazy. If you had heard it in reverse, Rob Kardashian pulls a gun on Blac Chyna, and then who's like, it's joking, we would be like, no, that's obviously terrible. Like,
And the headlines would be everywhere.
it would be everywhere. Like, I just don't understand why we tolerate this at all. I also know that recently Blac Chyna was she posted on like her Instagram, like, you know, I had to sell one of my cars because I just don't get enough child support. And Tyga, the one who was dating Rob's younger sister, who has a son with Blac Chyna, and then Rob Kardashian, who has their daughter, they were both like, we have primary custody. Our kids are with us 5 to 6 days of the week. We pay for all of their medical expenses and their $50,000 schools.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really understand why you're saying that you don't get enough child support when you only have your kids twice a week.
And even if that's the case, why are you telling social media
Also,
about
like,
it?
let's note that it's extremely unusual in the American judicial system for a woman to not get
Very
at least
unusual.
50% custody of their children. Like, the fact that she has both of her children a minimum on time, like, let's not trust Blac Chyna to do things. It's just all I'm saying.
I'm with you. All right, we have this very special article. Do you want to read this one, Mary?
Sure.
So it says new Hulu miniseries, "The Girl from Plainville" adds to growing list of female true crime villains.
Mary's back at it again with her original content on Timcast. You should check it out on the Read tab.
Yeah, double homicide.
Please read.
Hulu just released a new miniseries, The Girl from Plainville, that raises questions about how storytellers should depict real-life events while maintaining nuance and objectivity. The show tells the story of Michelle Carter, a Massachusetts teen who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2017. Her then-boyfriend, Conrad Roy III, committed suicide after getting phone calls and text messages from Carter encouraging him to do it. So basically, this is a biopic, true crime.
There's no such thing as a biopic. It's a biopic.
Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah, it's a true crime drama biopic about Michelle Carter. And they incidentally skipped portraying the actual events of the suicide.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good choice. They just skipped right from their relationship forward to when this went to court. And basically, this is just like the newest addition to true crime villains.
When girl boss goes wrong.
Yeah, like girl boss gone wrong, psychological manipulation tactics being used by women in real life events rather than one-dimensional female heroines who can do no wrong and are like making up for the blunders of stupid men around them.
We call those Mary Sue's here.
Mary Sue's.
Yes, Mary Sue's.
True crime stories centered around female perpetrators are proving to be the most compelling stories trailblazing in entertainment as they aim to capture the power of unbridled psychological manipulation. Although there has been a push for more media depictions of strong heroines rather than female villains, it seems that women's capacity for cerebral monstrousness is an untapped source of fascination. So there have been a couple of other examples of this. Recently, the Netflix series Inventing Anna about Anna Sorokin, who was a con artist. And then also the Dropout on Hulu about Elizabeth Holmes, the fraudulent Theranos founder.
The Steve Jobs, she's a Steve Jobs impersonator on the weekends.
Yeah, that turtleneck.
The turtleneck, which in the deeper voice than was her actual voice.
It's very endearing, actually, to me.
So girl boss gone bad. That's what.
Yeah.
I do find it to be a fascinating culture for me, just because it's one of those things where we're in the throes now of equality in the workplace, right? Or we're supposed to be, and we are now seeing the fruits of society's labor of pushing towards equal rights, equal opportunities for everyone. And of course, some of those go very right, and some of those go very wrong. You could attribute some. I mean, not this case in particular, but the Elizabeth Holmes one and the what's the other one's name?
Anna Delvey.
Yeah, you could contribute those. Like some might say that's a problem of not necessarily hustle culture, but the desire for a success in America, and how a woman might approach that and have it go bad, as opposed to how,
especially like Elizabeth Holmes. Yeah. I think she was motivated by this need for validation and power and success. Whereas Anna Delvey seemed to be more motivated by just pure greed or just testing the boundaries of how she could manipulate others. And
whereas men are more like, the stories about men doing that can be fascinating up to a certain point. When you get to the level of a Steve Jobs or a Jeff Bezos, somebody who's really accomplished that, I think it's more traditionally seen to show stories of men who do bad things in a physical sense. Whereas since women, we have for every Eileen Wuornos, there's not going to be a lot of stories like that, right? So the majority you're going to get are about how they the ones that go bad do so in a psychological means. I think it's one of the reasons that social media is so dangerous now, because it's ripe for psychological manipulation between people. I
would argue that this case, I think the girl boss culture and the examination of like female financial criminals is interesting. For this case in particular, I definitely feel like it's driven more by a desire for attention. I mean, one of the things one of the things that came out about this case afterwards was that Michelle Carter had, I don't remember how long she had been with her boyfriend, but maybe a year or two. Seemed like a normal high school couple.
But they didn't see each other in person very much.
They didn't see each other in person very much. They communicated online a lot. And after he died, she posted very publicly about how she was grieving and mourning, and she reached out to his family. Like, this definitely seems, and I don't know that she ever fully addressed it, in real life, but it seemed to really have to do with her own desire to be the grieving girlfriend, to have suffered this tragedy.
So to be seen as the grieving girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, that is more closely resembled to, like, it's obviously not the same thing, but like Munchausen's or Munchausen by proxy, when a mom poisons their child so that they present with symptoms so they can rush into the emergency room, so then everyone in their neighborhood bakes them a casserole and says, how can I help you? You know what I mean? I think generally it's interesting to examine crimes committed by women, because women, there's this book called The Female Brain that just talks more about like hormones and the structure of the brain. And one of the things the author, who's a neurobiologist, says is that for a long time, into like, the early 1900s, maybe the 1960s, when you would study the brain, they would throw out all the female candidates in tests, because they had always kind of assumed women were biologically small men, like there wasn't a difference. And actually women are wired very differently. They run on different hormones. Women commit crimes differently. Most women who commit murder actually poison their victims.
Yes,
it's very different than men. So in some ways, yes, there is this like girl boss attitudes that's showing us some of these, what I would call con women, the way Anna Delvey is and the way Elizabeth Holmes is. But in this case, I actually think this is like someone who is completely corrupted by our societal obsession for online validation. In my opinion,
I do need to get your take on it. Did you find that her punishment was apt? Do you think she got what she deserved?
She got out of prison in January of 2020, by the way.
She got convicted of involuntary manslaughter, and I always thought that was like a little bit, the fact that it's considered involuntary is slightly strange to me. I honestly felt like we will see more crimes like this come up, and really the only thing that we have as a legal precedent to compare it to is when people are like cyberbullied online and they kill themselves, and how those people are prosecuted. This one feels so much more, just like terrible to me, because like, if you don't know the story, her boyfriend was like in his car and texting her and saying like, I'm going to do this. He had carbon monoxide poisoning. They had been talking about, he had been talking about suicide and his depression with her off and on for a long time.
And she had said not to in the past.
She had said not to in the past. And in this case, like, there was a moment he got out of his car and she was like, you have to get back in. You said you were going to do this.
That was what changed my opinion about it.
It's crazy that she knew where he was and she was like, no, this is a good idea. You should definitely kill yourself. I'm not going to contact your parents. I'm not going to contact the police. I want this to happen. That's a level of cruelty and insensitivity that I was surprised that she got such a short sentence and that they pursued involuntary manslaughter. It did go to trial. It's not a plea deal. So to me, it has always felt a little bit off.
Yeah.
I understand that she's young, and I understand that like we treat
she was 17 when it happened.
So to me, not that young. And like, again, it's so obvious what she did wrong here that like the cruelty.
Do you think that there was more sympathy given to her because she was young and conventionally attractive? Because
no,
some people were saying like, I don't know,
blonde,
whatever
young,
you want to say, blonde, young. Because like Chloe Savini was saying she had an immediate bias against her because of those things.
I haven't really seen that reported that widely, honestly. To me, it's more likely, in my opinion, that this is just such a strange case. Like, we are, as a nation, are very uncomfortable talking about suicide and depression generally. So to confront like why someone would push someone else to do that, especially teenagers in a relationship, I think it's more that it's people like, she didn't pull the trigger, right? Or like, she didn't start the car in this case, right? Like, she did not actually physically attack him or in any way cause his death, but actually we all believe that like, and because he got out of the car, she played an intricate role, an intimate role in what happened to him. And it's likely that without her influence, there was a fair shot to say that this wouldn't happen. I think we just don't know how to prosecute cases like this.
Isn't it still a thing where if you see a crime being committed and you don't report it, you can be like, wasn't that the basis of the Seinfeld finale? Where they get arrested because a crime is being committed and they don't know and they don't do anything. They just keep going. They just ignore it. Is there still legal precedent for that? That if you do not report a crime as it's being committed,
in some cases it kind of depends.
So for some, the thing about like, to me, I was like, it was her telling him to get back in the car that shocked me. Because he was clearly showing signs that, we talked about, is he manipulating her by constantly talking about something like this? There's a level of emotional, I don't know if you'd call it blackmail, but of emotional baggage that he's consistently putting on her that makes her feel trapped. But that still, I don't believe that this was the right decision to tell him to get back in the car and then not inform anybody else that this was going on.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a fascinating indictment on where we're going as a society, that we can look more at these types of people, not just portray all villains as men and show in real life the women that this happens with, because traditionally the female villains in TV shows tend to be very it's like a male but a female, like they
or it was a man who did something to them that made them jaded and evil.
That's a fairly recent trend that's going on, where like the woman's bad, but she's bad because a guy made her bad, so that way it disperses the guilt.
Look, I think our like cultural fascination with true crime and examining these things has to do with a lot with the like deep desire subconsciously to find ways to avoid them within ourselves, like con women stories, and like how did they manage to convince, like how did Anna Delvey Sorkin convince like banks to give her huge loans? Like how did they pull that off? And there is maybe a glorification of them in some ways. I remember when the Ted Bundy movie came out, like people were like you have to stop talking about how attractive he is. And it's like, but that was really what happened.
Yep.
Like with con people, when fraud stories, we're always sort of afraid that we are going to be duped. And in this case, the girl from Plainville, I think there is a fear of, you know, I could see a parent watching this and being like, how do I protect my kid who I want to have, who, you know, who's going to date and who's going to have healthy relationships? How do I protect them from someone who at some level is deeply unhinged? Like, can you imagine being her parents and who are like, you texted him what? You said, like, to think that your kid is like in her bedroom encouraging someone to kill themselves, like, that's crazy. And I think we have this desire to try and identify patterns of behavior that may protect us from people like this. And it's a very hard case to wrap your mind around in some ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that there are stories like this getting made and, you know, having so much popularity right now. And I'm definitely going to watch it. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it too.
Okay, we got one more thing to talk about, and that's the Tony Awards. Tony Awards introduced new no violence policy ahead of 2022 show. So my first question is, was there not a no violence policy beforehand? And also, given the general, the average age of a Tony Award recipient, would we be more worried about like accidental injury? Because I'm guessing it's mostly people AARP aged and
We're
above.
We're really worried that like gay men in their 70s are going to start battling it out.
That could happen.
What we have to assume actually
I think that would
is
make
that the Tony
ratings
Awards
go up, though.
The Tony Awards had a violence policy before they enacted this policy.
I like the idea of two dudes, of like two people on the stage, like fighting over like a joke that somebody makes at the Tony, like, I wasn't a fan of the second act of you in this play, and or like your musical number here was stupid.
Are they going to have a dance battle?
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Sort of more like what's that movie with the sharks and they like snap a lot? They jump back, they get mad.
I have no idea.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is a musical reference that I botched.
I know nothing about musicals.
West Side Story?
Yeah, in West Side Story, they
yeah.
have like choreographed dance scenes. Like maybe you can have violence as long as it's only like
dance violence.
Yes.
There was a dance off in Sonic 2. There was absolutely a dance battle in Sonic 2. That Sonic 1.
Well, if Will Smith and Chris Rock were more mature, then that's how they would have settled their differences.
What if they just b-boyed? Like, just had a break dance battle. That's what they should have done.
I wish that Chris Rock and Will Smith had dueled, actually. I wish that they had been like, I'll see you outside afterwards. And for the rest of the show, we all get to be like,
they joust.
Are they about to just shoot each other? And then like they'll like announce an award for a show. And then like you see Will Smith being like, hey, Tom Hanks, can you be my second for my duel? Like, I just don't understand why we didn't do this properly. It's
Jousting,
really
I think, with horses.
At the very least, Chris Rock should have fought back.
Yes.
Not just took it.
In the FAQ,
then he'd be encouraging violence, which good non-toxic men don't do.
It says the Tony Awards have a strict no violence policy, the letter reads. In the event of an incident, the perpetrator will be removed from the event immediately. The show's new protocol was included among several other standard policies addressing a range of ceremony and gala-related topics, including dress code, seating, and vaccination requirements for the New York event. What the hell is the dress code at these things? There's no dress code.
Like black tie.
Yeah, for the guys, the women can wear meat.
But
you can
like,
wear meat suits if you want.
Well, when you say black tie, like traditionally that does have implications for women too. You wear a floor length gown and like things like that.
Okay, well, I want to see a dance battle or for the women can have like a runway runoff where they beat whoever has the best like model strut down a catwalk. If they're going to settle their differences.
Fashion awards, sir. These are
that's
musical
part.
awards.
They're talking about it here. Okay, then they have to either dance off or sing. They have to rap battle for all of them.
Funny.
So,
do you think anyone ever has like a loose no violence policy?
like we have an average.
Few exceptions.
We have a flexible no violence policy. We really would prefer if you didn't, but we understand occasionally you've really got to defend your lady well.
In the case of your mama jokes, violence is encouraged, is what they will say.
Look, if you played a military person on stage, you can attack someone as part of your acceptance speech, but otherwise we don't want to see it.
Exactly. Box or a boxer. If you were a boxer in a movie, maybe they'll let you punch, but you have to wear the gloves. So
It's just crazy.
we will see. I don't know if anybody was really expecting any violence at the Tony Awards. I personally wasn't, but
They
I
just
could
have
be
to
wrong.
show that they are reacting to it.
I-
Bad Will Smith.
It's all, he's causing all sorts of policy changes
No,
right now.
he is. It's going to be this thing that we talk about forever and ever and ever.
I
and
also
I'm
did
mad
this-
about it. I don't want to talk about Will Smith anymore.
It's hella boring, yeah.
I admit that I had fun picking this one just because I knew you would hate it a little bit.
Ugh, the
Well,
worst.
Also, I like the
I
idea-
like the Tony Awards with violence. I don't know what they're doing.
That's the best part.
That is what I look forward to all year long.
Tony violence.
The thing is, if the Tony Awards, I'm going to adapt a quote, a tweet that was popular for a while here. If the Tony Awards had not announced their no violence policy, none of us would have known it was going on.
Nope.
Like, all award shows are sort of irrelevant today, in my opinion.
This is true, which is why I will keep giving you
That's my
topics about
favorite
them.
soapbox to stand on. And one time Brett used to agree with me, but now he just cruelly baits me with this.
I mean, I still agree, but I got a job to do here, and part of that job is having great stuff to talk about, and
Making people mad.
and your strong opinion is to my benefit.
I try not to have like a ton of strong opinions, especially on stuff I don't know a lot about. But this has really become something I feel
I know.
deep within my soul that I am tired of award shows. Unless they can reinvent themselves or someone I respect puts them on, like I don't care.
Maybe maybe they do have the award show where they pick first and second place, but then those two have to battle for the award.
I just feel like I'm going to start campaigning for like the accounting, national awards to start televising their award show. And I'll loyally watch that because Hollywood award shows are just so useless to me. At least accountants like deal with your taxes.
That'd be cool. Okay.
Mary's looking at me like, why would you do that?
I was just thinking, is that a real thing? And I didn't know.
There are national organizations for accountant like industry awards. And
Oh.
they do get awards. Like,
Who's keeping track?
I assume whoever their
Goodness,
award
okay.
system is,
All right, Hannah Claire, I'm sorry for that last topic. Thank you for coming today.
You're bullying me.
I'm
going to report you to Will Smith.
No, don't do that. Do not report me to Will Smith. I can't. I
Can't take the slap.
I can't take the slap.
Then
He's already
stop.
on the way.
Said his name 3 times. He's going to appear any moment.
Well, we didn't say it in a mirror, so it'd be fine.
Well,
They're
put
bringing.
the- put
You need to
your,
flash the
cheek
lights
pad
on and off.
Yes. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.